What's up, everybody? It's the Hardy Construction. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, as well as Facebook with your host Comp and
Gino the Magical Doll.
And today's film is
The Ritual 2017.
The Ritual 2017, released on Netflix in 2018. A group of college friends reunite for a trip into the forest, but encounter a menacing presence in the woods that's stalking them. Directed by David Bruckner, written by Joe Barton and Adam Neville, who did the novel. Starring Rafe Spall, Arshur Ali, Robert James Collier, and who else? There's one other guy, right? Paul Reed. Paul Reed! As well as...
Wait, it was Paul... What's
Sam,
that reference?
No, I think he was the... I don't know. And Sam Troughton. So it's Luke, Phil, Hutch, Dom, and Robert. So this is a British film, right? I believe it's a British film.
Yes,
so
it's a British film.
It's Brit horror, and something...
Brit horror, for short.
Yes.
Or
anyway.
Brar.
So if you want to see a British horror movie, this is it. You can find it on Netflix. Came on February 9th. February 9th? Yeah, it is February 19th. Or 9th.
Oh, wow. We saw it, like, pretty quick.
Yeah. So the reason why I picked this film is because I had no idea what to pick the third week of the new year. The first new season of the new year. And I was like, I started seeing all these images for The Ritual. I think I saw the trailer a couple months back. And I was like, okay, whatever. It's just like people lost in the woods.
So fucking fancy.
I am special. And then I saw this and I was like, what the hell? Why not? I heard good things about it. And like I'd seen posts about it, and like somebody wrote something about a werewolf, and I was like, no, I don't want to spoil myself. I just want to watch the movie as is. And this is one of those type of films where...
What about werewolf? There's no werewolf.
I know. I guess I was just misreading what they wrote. But here's the thing. Before we really get into the meat of this film... Let me just say first off, why don't we spend the next... for the next 5 minutes... let's talk about... Danny, what did you do this week that really upset you?
Oh, this is... Yeah. This is in a way a horror sort of thing.
So we're about 3 minutes into the episode. So if you want to skip to
say like 5 minutes,
we'll do 5 minutes. So it'll be about 8 minutes into this episode. So.
No, I'm saying they can skip to minute 5. I think it'll be quick.
Okay, so
I saw Marilyn Manson in concert, which I've seen like 5 or 6 times.
Oh, you have seen him in the past. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, he puts on a great show always. This was. And apparently it's, like, famously the worst show ever. Because, I mean, there were, like, articles about it. He came on, like, 20 minutes late. The first song he opened up with was great. He did, like, Reflecting God, although he was, like, mumbling the lyrics and shit. And then he did another song, I don't remember what. And then he talked to, like, some guy dressed in a doctor's uniform for, like, 20 minutes. While there was, like, no music or lights on. And then... he spent like 15 minutes asking the audience if we love him.
Reflecting God, more like a deflecting fraud. Am I right? That's what he was with the
No, but then he played like maybe like 3 more songs the whole night and like extended them into like these like 15-minute just looping a riff and not even singing or anything. In between each one, like asking us if we love him. It was like really sad.
The good thing about this is that like
we can't get refunds because apparently he put on a show. He was on stage, which pisses me off because that's probably what the guy in the doctor uniform was telling him. Don't get off stage.
He's warning you people. Like this is there's articles all about it. It's on Daily Mail and Newsday. And
I was like angry, but more so I was like, this is like you're watching somebody who's like about to die. Like this is like the last show.
On Daily Mail, the article's called "The Dope Show." It says Marilyn Manson is meltdown on stage with bizarre extended rant before leaving early. So Danny's essentially warning you what you're getting into, because there's a show happening tonight, right, as we speak, in Jersey or something like that?
I'm very curious to see how it goes. It already happened, probably.
Yeah, there's clips of it online, and poor Danny had to deal with it.
Look, no matter what, even if he wasn't wasted, he is hungover as fuck today. There's no way.
And your brother had bought, what, 6 tickets for this show?
Yeah.
Oof. And Danny's...
they're not refunding it because he put on a show.
He did 3 songs.
He was standing on stage, drunk. The show ended with him dropping the mic mid-song and collapsing into a speaker.
So does this turn your feelings on Marilyn Manson a certain way?
it just makes me sad. It's like the same shit with Scott Weiland or something.
right.
Like watching somebody just like die.
So this is what, February 16th, the day that we're recording this. So Danny this happened what, 2 days ago or something like that?
No, it happened yesterday. It happened last night.
Oh, yesterday, and what Danny told me is that this is possibly the worst thing that has happened in America this week. Nothing else was worse than this Marilyn Manson concert. So it's very messed up that happened.
This is the worst thing for the
All right, enough.
Northeast.
That's the joke.
I'm saying for the Northeast,
Okay.
this is the worst.
Yes. So we're not meaning to make light of that, but yes, of course, everything is terrible everywhere. Hide your kids, seriously. Go find a bomb shelter.
This is comparatively not that bad a thing.
The world is a scary place.
The world is a vampire.
Yes. Is that? No, that's not one of his songs. All right. So the ritual. Back to that. We're back to the film now.
Back to the film.
So what? I know I picked the film, but what is the general like outlook of this type of film? What do you think this is about?
It's definitely like a cult witchcraft sort of thing. It was really cool, man. It was a good movie.
This is
I mean, I've seen this kind of idea, but it was just really well done.
This is one of those films where a person's personal guilt is manifested into a monster. Essentially, it's one of those type of films.
Yeah.
Like, because I had said 2 films like that to these other people on a posting board or message board. I was like, this is sort of like Kill List and The Babadook. Although I can't really say the the Kill List had like personal guilt. Although I'm sure he did personal guilt, but like,
well, he was an assassin,
right? So I guess but the Kill List went in a different way. I just say they're probably more close to each other because these are like British guys dealing with spooky, understated sort of horror. Although
but, my God, this film was so beautiful.
The last 15 minutes of this film isn't understated at all, but not in a bad way. Like it's really awesome the way it's done.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I wanted to say because I had spoken to you before about it, and I almost spoiled. Like I was telling you that there's something in this that I was very impressed with that I haven't seen in a long time. Is an actual full CGI creature that looked good.
Oh yeah.
Like it actually does not.
Do you think it was pure CGI? You don't think they had any?
What are they gonna do?
I mean, they could.
What did they do? Hired a giant
puppet?
elk? No, I don't think there was there was absolutely no puppetry. It didn't look well. Unless maybe they were in close-up shots. I guess could be puppets, but
it looked really good.
But like, I was actually very surprised at how well this monster looked in CGI. I couldn't need glasses. Who knows? But it actually looked very. But we'll get to that later. Anyway, so the film starts out with these 5 guys. They're all college friends. The main guy, I think his name is Luke, right? Is that the main guy? And
yes, Luke.
He's sort of an asshole. I don't really have any sympathy for this main character because he's sort of a dick.
He's not an asshole. Why is he an asshole?
Because he's just like a rude character and he's like dismissive of everybody in the film.
I didn't get that at all.
Okay, so Danny's an asshole just like this Luke character. So anyway, Luke wants to keep the night going on. He's disappointed in his one of his friends, I believe. Is it Dom, the fat guy?
Dom, the one he punches in the face later?
Right, yeah, because Dom, I guess
Dom.
Dom has let himself go physically and has married and has, a good job. And I think that Luke is, the opposite of that. He wants to stay young, sort of like his college guys. But these are all adult, men in their mid-30s or late 30s or early 40s even. And he brings over his friend, I believe it's Robert, he takes with him to a local sort of 7-Eleven in England. I mean, they call them... I don't know what the fuck they call them over there.
Boy, what a bad choice that was.
Oh, yes. So, what the moral of the story is? Don't listen to your friends. Just stay in your house, and everything will be okay.
Don't go to 7-Elevens.
Don't go to 7-Elevens, and don't go to the woods with your friends.
Or this is the real moral. If somebody is robbing you with weapons, don't get sentimental about your material.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, just give the guy a fucking ring. Like, I mean,
give him
just
the fucking ring. Yeah, you love your
wife.
That's great.
You got to think about your wife and your kid, and you don't want to give somebody 2 guys on drugs, one with them with a fucking pole. Like, here, take the fucking ring. Like, I don't understand. Like, I understand in hindsight
they would have caught him anyway.
There was a reason to to have the guy there. I don't think they would have clobbered them because there was that. Oh, the other lady got hit, but I think he got hit worse because he resisted. And you're not supposed to victim blame, but listen, if you're gonna get robbed, just give somebody the fucking ring so they can get away from you.
Why was he dressed like that? He was asking for it.
Okay, so anyway, rounding out the other guys is Phil, played by Arsher Ali. I don't know what you're talking about. There's Hutch, played by Robert James Collier. Was Hutch the guy that looked like Jamie Lannister with a buzz cut? Or am I...
Hutch is the guy that gets nailed into a tree.
Right,
With the black hair. He was like the good-looking one that was trying to take charge.
Oh, I know what your mind was. Yeah, he looked to me. He looked like.
Guy.
Yeah, say it one more time. Let's see.
All right.
So he looked like to me. He looked like Jamie Lannister for some reason with like short black hair.
I don't see that at all.
And Robert, obviously. So these five guys hanging around. What happens is their buddy Robert gets the bad end of a metal pole over the head. At the same time, Luke wisely hid himself, but when he did that, he knocked over a bottle, alerting the junkies to look at Robert, essentially putting him in the line of fire. He feels guilt about that. They were all planning to go, I guess. They were trying to find an exciting thing to do as friends do, like a yearly thing.
They were going to go camping.
So they decide to go camping in honor of their friend Robert, and they get lost in these woods. And
see now, why? After all these horror movies, would you go to some like weird undocumented part of Sweden?
But these are probably five like good-looking British guys that have lives. They get pussy. They don't have to watch horror movies. Do you know what I mean? Like they're living their life.
I know. But
they drinking
fine. So you're saying they didn't have the warning of the horror movies?
They're drinking pints. They're shagging not Sheila's lassies.
I thought you could say Lannisters.
Well, that too. But yeah, these are guys that probably don't give. It's horror movie rules. They don't watch horror movies within horror movies unless it's like, it knows what it is. It's self-aware.
I understand, but I mean, don't go.
Don't
go to the forest, undocumented forest. I mean,
That happens because Dom twists his ankle, right? Or not twists his ankle. He sprains his ankle or his knee. Yeah, so basically the whole thing of the film of these guys,
Dom is a hypochondriac apparently.
There's like I like that art design of them whenever they go to sleep at this weird house in the middle of nowhere, and there's allusions to the creature. There's like this headless man with antlers.
Actually, I was really digging like the convenience store lights and shit.
Yeah, that stuff. Like it'll always go back to Luke's guilt in his dream. So this is probably one of those movies where people are like, oh no, it's all in his head. It's all in his head. It's like, no, because there's actual like psychopaths out in the fucking woods. It was like basically a Swedish deity that those people worshipped, right? And if it
was Loki's bastard, basically.
Yeah. So if the Loki bastard marks you, then that leaves you as one of his worshippers.
Loki like fucking antelope? Like what was that about?
I have no clue. So they go into this house and it's really creepy. And then they go back out to the woods, and they do find this very poorly constructed dummy of a deer in the trees, like eviscerated and stuff. Like that's the only effect where I thought looked pretty bad, but I understood why they did that. But the art design is pretty neat. It's really beautiful vistas and trees and stuff like that. But yada yada, you know what this kind of shit is. Guys get weirded out in the woods, and then it leads up to the ending.
It was pretty well done, though.
It is. It's well done. But the part where people tend to fall apart, and I'm sure I've heard people say that the ending of the film falls apart because it's revealing too much. Like, I think they were expecting more. Oh, this should be a psychological horror as opposed to just being an actual monster. But I thought it did well for what it was. Like, to me, it doesn't make any sense that a creature. Well, I guess it needs people to worship it for it to exist. You sort of. I keep thinking about.
It feeds on that.
Yeah, I'm thinking of that. What is that stupid movie? The remake of the Greek gods fighting.
American Gods.
No. It's a movie. They made two films. It had the guy from Avatar in it, and Liam Neeson and Ray Fiennes.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it's called.
Clash of the Titans, I believe they were called.
Okay.
And like the gods in there, if you don't believe in them, they get weak and they die. So I would assume that's probably what's going on here. But it like instead of eating the people, it like just impales them on trees. So I guess maybe that's how it gets its power. It makes absolutely no sense to me. But I guess that's they need a sacrifice in it.
Sacrifices and worship.
So these were like Swedish people that were doing this, right? The Swedes.
Yeah.
So essentially, what the gist is that a group of people, they must have all wandered around in these woods for centuries. I guess these group of people. Only one of them spoke English, and they pick people to sacrifice towards this Loki bastard.
Well, I think the monster picks them, and then the monster decided that it wanted Luke to worship it and become one of those people.
Yeah.
Then he would have had to like bang that old Swedish lady and like learn Swedish and shit. Like Even Swedish people don't speak Swedish; they speak English.
I like that Luke got a little bit, he got it action-wise. Like, as soon as he got into that room and he's like, we gotta get out of here, he smashed that lady over the head with a hammer.
I know I'm wrong with that statement, by the way.
I wasn't paying attention, so I don't know. If he said something offensive, take it on him.
Yes.
I like the action of the film. I mean, everybody else, in these type of movies, everybody else is doomed. I thought for a moment that Luke would save Dom.
Dom had a fucked up knee, and Dom was an asshole.
Yeah, but Luke was an asshole too. Like,
no, he wasn't. I don't know what you're talking about.
How is Luke a good guy?
How is he not a good guy? What did he do wrong?
How is Dom a bad guy?
Because he tells his friend, "Oh, it's your fault. Our friend died."
Well, they all felt that way about him. And he's also
being he's all being a bitch and shit because he hurt his knee like a little bastard. Like, he's a little bitch.
Well, we know who Danny sides with. He sides with the
I just don't understand why Luke did anything wrong.
Everybody else is cool. Luke was just a moody bastard. He was just a moody shithead. He was very moody. And so was Dom, but they're all like that.
I didn't get that impression. I actually thought the only one that was kind of an asshole, like moody, was Hutch. Seemed a little moody.
Hutch and Luke basically look like the same guy, honestly. Because the other guys really didn't have much character development. It's essentially
Phil was praying to the fucking straw man and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was supposed to be weird. Like, the only characters really that had any depth in them were obviously Luke and Dom. Hutch was supposed to be the alpha male that helps him out, but then he gets killed. But I knew as soon as I saw like Phil and Hutch, like they were done for pretty much quickly. Like, because they're not very fleshed out characters. They're good actors. Everybody in this film is a very good actor.
You meant Phil and Dom.
What did I say?
You said Luke and Hutch.
No, I said Phil. Okay. I said Phil and Hutch are the two guys. Dom is the fat guy that gets punched in the face, right?
Yes.
Phil and Hutch are the two guys that are not written well. They're just sort of there. Okay. Either way, so they end up at this sort of sanctuary in the middle of nowhere. What did you think? What did you think those creatures in the room were? I think those were the spiritual.
Those were people that had been alive for so long.
Oh, was it?
Worshiping this thing that they became like mummies.
Oh, for some reason I thought those people were sort of like, I thought it was like a Dorian Gray kind of thing. Like, how Dorian Gray has a painting. You ever heard of the story where Dorian Gray lives forever and that painting of his gets older and older unless you destroy it and kill him?
I took it as those were people from like hundreds of years ago who are still alive worshiping this thing.
Oh, okay. For myself, I thought those were, but I guess yours would make sense. But I thought those were supposed to be like the spiritual embodiment of the people that decided to stay on forever. But I guess if those people are mummified, it makes more sense.
So you think all these like little houses all over them have these mummy guys in there? It's like a village of people that worship this big antelope with hand faces.
Yeah, because I mean, let's say if I had to worship this knucklehead, and you go and you see that room full of those mummy creatures, like, well, who the fuck would want that? I'd be like, nah, no, it's okay.
Well, I would worship until it got to the point where I couldn't walk anymore, and they'd be like, okay, I'm done now.
I know. I mean, because like, what's the alternative? Like, you get pushed through a tree. That's it. Fine. Then you're killed. Yeah. Like, it seemed.
Or you could just walk outside the range of trees.
Yeah, it looked like a relatively easy way to go. Yeah, I don't know why these people would just decide like they're that scared. Well, I guess it was moving around.
No, because they worship it.
For a moment, I thought it was gonna be like fucking Jaws. Like, because how Kevin Smith has a movie coming out he wants to make a movie called Moose Jaws.
You think it was gonna like explode them in the mouth?
No. I thought it was just actually a moose or some sort of large creature like a moose just going around, not like supernatural. Like, it was just hunting them down, killing them. That's all I thought it was.
So it's just like a real moose.
Yeah, because there's that very clear scene of when they're walking in the woods and it stays on them walking far away into the background.
It was like a tree moose.
Right, it looks like, like something out of Lord of the Rings, like one of those giant elephants in the movie, but it's like a giant moose. That's what I thought it was. I was
with
like,
hands, with baby hands.
Yeah, but from far away, it just looked like a fucking moose. But then when you actually see it, there's like, that's the only effect of the monster I did not like. Like it has two people on his head upside down. Like, I mean, obviously opposite sides. One's like right side up, and the other one's upside down. The one on the upside down, I think, is that no. The one on the top side is like some sort of weird 1980s fucking video game ghoul, because it's like a face hidden underneath a cloak. It looks like something out of like Gauntlet or something, like those ghosts that you have to kill. And I was like, what the fuck is this? That looks a little stupid. But and then I think what the other one was just like just sort of like a pair of hands or something like that. Either way,
I'm
it was
just trying to picture Loki really going to town on it, like
the Loki from
like
the
a
Marvel
moose.
Cinematic Universe. Like
Yeah, that Loki.
He's like, how about we take these down? And he's like fucking a dog or something or whatever.
And his dad, plays the dad?
Yeah, I know who you're talking
Hannibal
about.
Lecter, right?
Hannibal Lecter, and he's like, yes.
He's just like
watching.
watching. He's making that noise, like
rubbing his hands together and filming it on whatever the kind of camera they had. You should see how upset some like the supremacists are. That
about what?
That in you didn't see the new Thor movie, right? Anyway, so this is not a
No.
spoiler or anything, but like their Valhalla or wherever the hell they live in those movies, that there's like actual black people on that planet. They're upset because it's not all white. It's not all white people. And I'm like, if you could get over Heimdall, because Heimdall was like a white god, but they had like Idris Elba play him, whatever.
Yeah, he looked awesome.
It's like unless you like, I mean, do you guys sit down and worship, these gods? Like, there's probably people in actual Sweden or wherever whoever worships these gods from that area that still believe in that, which is fine. Yeah. But these are guys that are like
living
here
in the fucking woods, worshiping mooses. And
yeah,
shit.
these are like guys from here.
They're the people
offended.
that this movie was made about.
It's sort of like when that Megyn Kelly and stuff, and she starts flipping out about Santa Claus not being white, he might be black, and I'm like, who gives a flying shit? Coca-Cola
He's not fucking real.
Coca-Cola
Sorry,
made up.
Spoilers.
Coca-Cola made up the Santa Claus that you see on TV. He didn't obviously they didn't create the Saint Nicholas because that's an even older lore. Yeah. But it's like, okay, let him be a black guy. Who gives a flying fuck? You're gonna be buying the toys anyway.
He'd be a fucking purple guy. He's not real.
Let's not be racist. Anyway, but yeah, so this film does deal with Swedish belief systems. I wonder if people, yeah, I'm sure there's people into some far out religions.
I'm sure there's
obviously.
people that I doubt there's very many people who like really believe that stuff, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who are like into the mythology of it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, but Danny, there's got to be people that believe in some weird shit. You know what I mean? There's like clearly.
I mean, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam.
Well, yeah, every religion is is a belief system that not everybody believes in.
Like, it's all interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, this is something that it's a weird film, but it's done really well. I don't know if I was too happy about the final shot. Like, I was actually surprised that he survived at the end of the movie. Yeah, because usually movies like this, they just kill everybody at the end of it, and that's it.
I was happy to survive.
But I was happy to survive. But it was just a weird shot of him running into the distance. But I was like, what really could they have done differently? Could they have shown?
I did like when he punched the old lady in the face. That
was pretty good. But I did like it. I thought it's a solid little English horror film. The CGI of the monster is actually very good. I'm not a fan of CGI monsters because they look really bizarre on film. But for some reason, it looked really good in this movie.
I feel like it was a mix of practical effects.
I'm sure. I think up close it is because I don't know what the fuck you could do with an 8-foot. How much it would be to create a 10-foot fucking monster like
puppet
that
or something? I mean, they've done it before.
Yeah, but I'm not for this. I doubt it. I mean, we got to rewatch it. But the monster alone is worth watching the film just because of how well it's designed and how like unusual it is. Because I haven't seen a giant moose, that attacks people like that or whatever the fuck it's supposed to be.
A moose-human hybrid, a Loki bastard.
Yeah, so I would give this movie like.
Wait, we didn't even talk about like the director.
What the fuck do I know about? Go ahead, you bring it up.
He did the really good vampire one in VHS.
What was that?
That flying split-faced girl that's like, I like you.
Oh, he did that one. Oh, he did
yeah.
Oh, so he also, let me see.
He did Southbound, which is like the only one
I
remember.
Didn't actually.
The one in the hospital room.
Oh, he did that part. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's actually a good director. Oh, so he also
he's
did
a good director. I haven't seen his other shit.
Oh, he did The Signal too? Oh, okay. The Signal is basically a better version.
I couldn't remember The Signal.
You never saw it. The Signal is basically a better I don't know if you did see it, but we never spoke about it. It's a better version of that The Cell. The Nicolas Cage movie no, not Nicolas Cage, I'm sorry.
The one with J-Lo?
No, the cell phone movie, the Stephen King movie.
Oh, the awful one that they ruined?
Yeah, why did I say Nicolas Cage? I meant that other guy. Who's that guy? The guy from fucking Better Off Dead, that great movie. John.
And his sisters got the same...
Yeah, so if you want to go see The Cell, the movie version, don't. Just go see Signal. It's essentially the same thing as people...
going crazy
over stuff. I thought this guy was an English... Is he an English director? I wonder.
This movie made me... think that deforestation is good.
So this guy's actually a good director. He see, I ran over that joke. Yeah, I actually should see. Oh, he didn't direct Siren though. He just wrote the screen or produced the movie version. But I heard that was good.
Okay.
You know the I Like You Girl? They made
Yeah.
that into a movie. It's called Siren.
Really?
It spun off into a feature film.
Why
but
would they
he didn't
not?
direct
Was it good or bad?
I heard it's good actually. And since he
Why
did,
wouldn't they let him be involved? Considering he's
no, he probably
director?
didn't want to do it. He probably I told the story that I wanted to tell in 10 minutes, and that's it. That's sometimes you do that. Like I'm sure he was like, nah, I don't really want to make a full feature about this. So he
Also,
just
the
passed it off
main
to somebody
guy,
else.
the main guy in this movie, is in. He's like the tattooed guy that has the dogs in Prometheus, the one that goes oh, and he's like throwing the things.
I don't remember that.
He's the guy. He's one of the main guys.
All right, that movie was fantastic, very good. But yeah, if he did that good, how do you know he did that part in Southbound?
Because I looked it up.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that's the good one. That's the one with the girl that's like the guy. They're calling him
It's
on
the
the phone,
hospital
telling him how
one.
to write. Yeah, that's the best part of that shit movie.
That's the only one I remember.
Yeah, I didn't
the rest
like
of
that
it was
movie.
like a bad movie.
That movie was so bad. Remember, I forgot the name. I forgot to even know what the fucking name was called. But yeah, that wasn't good. So he's pretty good. The Signal is very watchable. Signal is like I think he did one segment because I think the Signal was 3 different directors. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, it was
I got to
it was
figure
a
out
segment
which.
film.
Does it say which segment he actually did?
Crazy in Love.
I don't know which one that is because the first one is like this guy and his girlfriend. I guess she's cheating on her husband with him, and they make them the heroes of the movie
It's the
for some reason.
first one.
Yeah, so he did the first one. That's basically where everything goes down when people start attacking. I don't remember it that much. I actually felt bad for the husband in the film because basically his girlfriend's cheating on him, or his wife's cheating on him with this weird looking guy. He looks like the singer of Three Doors Down, and he's looking for her, but he's affected by the Signal too. So they try to make him a huge villain, even though basically he's looking for his wife. You know what I mean? So that's why I was like, that
He
movie
sounds like a real scumbag.
yeah, he's a real bastard. Can you imagine wanting to look for your wife in the middle of the
Who's
apocalypse?
cheating on you.
But he was
Yeah.
also possessed by monsters, so they try to
If
make
there was an apocalypse, who would I look for?
me. Then we could do more episodes of the hard
nah.
deconstruction. No, okay. Marilyn Manson, so you kick him in the balls for what he did.
I hope he's okay.
Remember that song? He did a song with DMX, and I was trying to tell Danny. He never heard of it. I forgot what the name of the song was, but it was like the rat, the cat, the dog, and the fog. I always thought it was the frog. What you gonna do with the blah blah? Some shit. You gotta listen to that. It's just
Yeah, I
DMX
never heard
featuring
that.
Marilyn Manson. It's a bad song. Oh, but people
Oh,
say
anyway,
it's
so
genius. I guess.
give your rating. I'm sorry.
I'll
to
give
cut
it
you
a
off.
7 out of 10. It's a solid
Okay.
little English horror movie that has a really good CGI monster in it. It's nothing super special, but it's not a waste of time. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Looking to get some chips and drinks, and your best mate gets heat over the head with a steak, mate. I couldn't even think of a good English word. Because you know how the English come up with some weird fucking phrases like,
Yeah.
eat him with a lolly bagger. Do
I
you
heard
see
a
that?
really good Australian slang. It was the word for like a male thong. It was called like a brundle pouch or something
my
weird.
God, that
like,
sounds
It
horrible.
was something like really gross sounding. Like
I bet
very
you that's
funny.
old too. Danny didn't know that the word for a slang for vagina was sugar walls.
I've never heard that in my life.
That's such an old phrase.
Who the hell says that?
Perverts. What do you think?
Sugar walls. It doesn't even sound sexual.
Okay, what was the other phrase that you did here?
Oh, what, vagina mite?
That was a good one. Vagina mite. I never heard of that one. That's
I think she just made that up. We went to an art show.
that
and
was
our friend
shout out
had,
to our friend Cassandra.
A vagina
Yeah.
titled Vagina Mite.
Vagina mite's a great name, but yeah, I'm sure girls spend. So that shows you know how guys will have 100 names for their dicks. Like girls will come up with
I don't have any names for my dick. It's just my dick.
Oh, I thought it was
Or
called.
my penis. Sometimes we call it my penis.
I thought it was the cunt destroyer. That's what you told me. Anyway,
I never.
what's your
I never
rating for this
call it
movie?
even my cock. I don't like.
Danny
the
says
word.
Danny says he doesn't. He makes sure it's not a good job unless his penis is bloody by the end of the night. All right,
Oh my God.
what's your rating for this movie?
My rating? I'm giving it a higher rating than you. An 8.2
Wow,
out of 10. Yeah, 8.2 out of 10.
it's like 1.2 fucking more points. But go ahead.
8.2 out of 10. Turning down you could have just worshipped this thing, and then you could have fucked that hot Swedish girl for a while until you got bored, and then you just walk outside the tree line.
Very different definitions of hot. So with that, Danny,
She was cute.
what's the let's see how you walked it back already. With that, Danny, what's the final word?
She was hot. Remote swivel remote.
The horror deconstruction.